Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Joan Vassos reveals shocking reason she almost quit the Golden Bachelorette after working through family drama with Chock Chapple. The Golden Bachelorette star Joan Vassos revealed the heartbreaking reason that she almost quit the show before getting engaged to Chock Chapple in the season finale. During the Golden Bachelorette Season 1, Joan was still dealing with the 2021 loss of her husband of 32 years, John, who passed away due to pancreatic cancer. In addition, her 92-year-old mom got sick during filming, and she thought about returning home to her, but she eventually recovered. Although Joan and Chock have been dealing with the drama of trying to blend their two families, they're still very much in love. Now on the Two Jersey Jays podcast, shared via Instagram, Joan revealed that she almost quit the Golden Bachelorette in week 3 because she was still in love with her late husband, John. Joan said, "I almost quit," and shared that she didn't tell the producers, but instead she talked to the show's psychiatrist. Joan explained, "And so I asked to speak to the psychiatrist. They came into my room, and I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I'm still in love with John. Like, how do you do this?" And they go, "Well, why do you think you have to not be in love with John?" And I go, "'Cause, how do you? These men, they expect me to fall in love with them. You know, one of them does." Joan then shared the advice that the psychiatrist gave her. She said, "They said, well, you can still do that. They said, picture it like this. Picture that John is a balloon in this hand, and this other person is a balloon in this hand. And you don't have to let go of this one to hold on to this one. There's room for both of them in your heart." Although Joan's declaration that she's still in love with her late husband, John, might seem concerning at first for Chock, he understands how she feels completely. He lost his fiancée of 9 years, Kathy, to brain cancer in 2022. Chock and Joan bonded about how they knew that it was okay for them to still love John and Kathy, but also to make room in their hearts for each other. It's actually a good thing for Joan and Chock's relationship that she almost quit the Golden Bachelorette in week 3 because she was able to have a breakthrough by speaking to the psychiatrist about how she was feeling. She learned that she could still love John, while also allowing herself to fall in love with someone new. This will make her relationship with Chock stronger in the end because she faced her feelings and worked through them before they got engaged. It's a beautiful thing that Joan didn't quit the Golden Bachelorette, even though she came close. It's nice to hear that the show's psychiatrist helped her through that moment of doubt and gave her advice that aided her in moving forward, not only with the show, but with her life. The Bachelor franchise producers have often been accused of not caring about the mental health of the leads and contestants, but Joan's story proves that she had support when she needed it most, which is reassuring. It's wonderful that Joan was able to work through her feelings about John during the Golden Bachelorette and learn that she could still love him while falling in love with Chock. She and Chock are perfect for each other because they both truly understand what it feels like to lose a great love. They were both able to open their hearts, and now they're engaged. Hopefully, Joan and Chock will live happily ever after. Joan Vassos sat perched on a sun-dappled veranda, her golden curls glinting in the late afternoon light, as cameras rolled for what producers believed would be a reflective but ultimately hopeful interview. The journey of the Golden Bachelorette was winding to its final chapters, and fans were desperate for clarity about the emotional roller coaster they'd witnessed just a few weeks earlier, when Joan appeared ready to pack her bags and walk away from it all. What could have been a career-defining opportunity for the show's producers almost turned into their worst nightmare. Joan, who had been the season's anchor with her wit, charm, and undeniable magnetism, suddenly found herself teetering on the edge of quitting. "I wasn't sure I could handle it," Joan began, her voice tinged with a vulnerability that was rarely visible in her otherwise composed demeanor. "It was supposed to be about finding love again, embracing the future, but instead, I felt like I was drowning in the past. The straw that broke the camel's back." For weeks, audiences speculated about the dramatic mid-season teaser where Joan was shown tearfully confiding in producers, "I can't do this anymore." The show's narrative suggested it had something to do with her emotionally charged hometown date with Chock Chapple, a charismatic widower with a heart as big as the Alaskan frontier. Chock had charmed Joan with his rugged authenticity, but when their romantic high gave way to a family visit fraught with tension, everything began to unravel. "I knew meeting Chock's family would be intense," Joan admitted, "but I wasn't prepared for how much it would mirror my own struggles." Chock's children had grown wary of his dating life, convinced no one could ever replace their late mother. While the episode portrayed Chock as a devoted father trying to balance his own happiness with his family's concerns, the reality behind the scenes was far messier. Joan quickly became a lightning rod for unspoken resentment, and the experience dredged up memories of her own children's resistance to her decision to join the show. "They sat me down and said, 'Mom, why are you doing this?'" Joan revealed. "They felt it was selfish, like I was chasing something at the expense of our family's unity." A hidden battle behind the glamour. As Joan opened up about her struggle, she admitted that it wasn't just her children's resistance weighing on her. It was her own guilt. After losing her husband a decade earlier, Joan had thrown herself into motherhood, crafting an identity solely around her family's needs. The decision to join the Golden Bachelorette marked the first time she put herself first in years. "Walking into that mansion on night one, I felt like I was reclaiming a part of myself I'd buried," Joan said, her voice cracking. "But the deeper I got into this journey, the more I realized how much I'd been neglecting the wounds my family still carried. It felt selfish to chase happiness when they were still healing." Producers, eager to preserve the show's upbeat image, initially downplayed Joan's reservations. But as tensions escalated during her visit with Chock's family, Joan began to unravel. "Chock's daughter said something to me that I'll never forget," Joan said. "She told me I was brave for being here. But then she asked, 'Do you ever feel like you're running away from your responsibilities?' And that hit me hard because deep down, I was afraid she was right." The breaking point. The moment Joan nearly walked away came late one night after an emotional conversation with Chock. He had opened up about the guilt he carried from moving on after his wife's death, and his vulnerability mirrored Joan's own inner turmoil. "We both realized we were haunted by the same question. Is it okay to be happy again?" Joan said. "It was a powerful moment, but it also made me question everything. I started to wonder if I was even ready for this kind of love." Joan returned to her room that night and packed her suitcase. She planned to leave quietly, leaving behind a handwritten note for Chock and a brief goodbye to the producers. But as she zipped up her bag, a knock at the door changed everything. A heart-to-heart with Chock. Standing in the hallway, Chock looked more vulnerable than ever, his rugged demeanor softened by genuine concern. He had sensed something was off during their earlier conversation and came to check on her. "I told him everything," Joan said. "I poured my heart out about my family, my guilt, my fears about being here. And instead of trying to fix it or tell me I was wrong, he just listened." Chock's response was simple yet profound. "Joan, you can't pour from an empty cup. Maybe this journey isn't about running away. It's about filling yourself up so you can give even more to the people you love." A transformative realization. Chock's words struck a chord, and for the first time, Joan began to see her journey not as an act of selfishness, but as an investment in her own happiness. "I realized that by allowing myself to heal and grow, I was setting an example for my family," Joan said. "I was showing them that it's okay to prioritize your own well-being, even when it feels uncomfortable." The next day, Joan sat down with producers and shared her decision to stay. She also reached out to her children, who, after seeing her emotional growth, began to understand her motivations. "My kids told me they were proud of me," Joan said, tears welling in her eyes, "and that gave me the strength to keep going." The aftermath. While Joan's relationship with Chock ultimately didn't lead to an engagement, their connection marked a pivotal moment in her journey. The experience of working through her family drama and nearly quitting forced Joan to confront the parts of herself she had long ignored.